DeWitt and Nicholas Moreano rolling right along for making the case for some cornerbacks here in the 2022 NFL Draft. And the next guy on our list is Kyler Gordon out of Washington. You saw last season, 45 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. On PFF's big board, he ranks 60th out of all 150 prospects that they've ranked. And he has a 79 for the next gen stats grade, which is out of 100. Nick, Kyler Gordon, what do we like?
Everything. No, we like a guy that's really athletic, can play outside and inside, has comfortability doing either one, but I project him to be someone that plays on the outside, especially if he were to be drafted by the Bears. And a thing that Coach Eberflus has talked about and Alan Williams has also talked about, these corners need to be able to tackle. Kyler Gordon can do just that. He's someone that's not afraid to get in there, get dirty, and make some stops in the run game.
And that's the opposite of the previous guy with a Kyer Elam. But when you look at Gordon, you know, when he plays, if you want to get an inkling on his style, he's a press guy. Like almost 60% of all of his career cover snaps have came in the press. So he's going to be in your face. He's going to be jamming his receivers off the line. He has good, strength to kind of get some of these receivers off their marks and make it a little difficult to kind of get into those in and out of those routes and those cuts. But he also has some decent body control, athleticism, and he can mirror these receivers. You don't usually see him trailing. He stays right, in the pocket of these guys. So that's what we like. What don't we like?
Yeah, and I think the big thing with what this defense is going to preach about is the turnover production. Kyler Gordon doesn't necessarily have that in his 3 years really at Washington. 5 total turnovers with 2 of those interceptions coming last season in 2021. It happened actually in the same game. So you don't see that turnover production that you would like to see in college, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he won't be able to do that at the next level.
And he's not the fastest, only a 4.57 40-yard dash. But as we're watching the film, he plays faster than that, right?
Yeah, you see the combine stats, and maybe they don't add up because when you see Kyler Gordon on the football field, dude is everywhere. So I think it's a little skewed there.
And I know he's a really, active tackler, but he does have an issue with missing them sometimes, which doesn't allow for some yards after the catch opportunities for opponents. So, working in those fundamentals, making sure that you wrap up, you take the guy down instead of some of those shoulder tackles, I think would be a great next step for him throughout his development. But let's make the case. Why would Kyler Gordon make sense to become a Chicago Bear?
Well, he's a guy that has a background in kung fu and competitive dancing. So don't you want to add that to your secondary? That's so unique. But no, that actually has helped him to actually play the cornerback position, talk about the body control, his instincts. And that's what Kyler Gordon can bring and just add, again, opposite of a Jalen Johnson. So I love that athleticism and someone that can also play inside.
Exactly. That versatility is something that I think the Bears would appreciate going into training camp. You don't have this guy pigeonholed as okay, he's only an inside or he's only an outside option. He can play either or. Let's find the best 3, out there. Okay, the best 2 to pair with a Jalen Johnson. How does that kind of shake out to be? And he'll allow you some of that flexibility to really figure it out. But on top of that, we mentioned he's physical, and he really embodies what they're kind of preaching here in Chicago with that hits philosophy. So he makes sense both from an on-field perspective as well as a character guy as well. So that's why the Bears should be drafting, a guy like Kyler Gordon. So definitely go to the next video right now because we have another exciting cornerback to tell you about.